lonesome shining through the trees? Don't the moon look lonesome shining through the trees? Don't your arms feel lonesome when your baby packs up and leaves?
So I got Welychka here today from Kingston, Ontario. He's going to be the MC. Absolutely. Come on up here, Bill. Thank you so much. Let's a big round of applause for Bill. Thank you. You're amazing. Thank you.
Welcome back, so good to see you. As promised, Mr. Donny Most is here. We're hanging out in Timmins. Good to see you. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you for a few days here, and you're my new best friend, I've been telling people.
Yes, we are now best friends. It happened so quickly, but every once in a while you meet someone and it just clicks.
There's something about you, though, and everyone that I know that I've talked to this week that have met you said, there's something about Donny. He's a beautiful human being. There's something very... there's an energy with you. Have you heard that before?
I think so. From time to time, I've heard that. Not quite. It's hard for me to
Talk about you that way.
Yeah, and to understand that. So I'm always kind of like surprised. When people say that, it's like, oh, really? But I'm thankful. I'm very. I think maybe that has something to do with whatever success I've had as an actor. Probably that might add to another ingredient in the soup, so to speak.
Well, speaking of which, a lot of people are surprised that you'd consider yourself a musician even before auditioning for Happy Days, and music has never left you.
Yeah, I was singing years before I ever did Happy Days, and before I started pursuing acting. My first love was the music and singing. All the great standards and the jazz standards and big band and swing. I loved all. I still do. I put it as after this one. I was 15 and I was performing in a nightclub act up in the Catskill Mountains, which was a resort area upstate New York. They had a lot of hotels and nightclubs. So I was 15 and I was performing in those, and it was like pretty wild. But then I really got caught up in a lot of great films that were coming out, and I started getting influenced by wonderful actors, and I put the music aside and went after the acting thing, and but I knew I'd come back to it at some point.
And you did. All these years later.
Yeah, I don't know why I took as long as I did, but I got back into it in a big way about 9 years ago, and I'm having a blast with it. But it doesn't mean I've given up, put the acting aside. I've been very busy with that too, doing a lot of films. Yep. But I'm loving that I can combine both.
Sunday, Monday, happy days.
Well, happy 50th anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
You've been everywhere. I saw you on the cover of National Enquirer, Closer magazine. There is something about your past with that show and what it has meant to so many people. Generations. Amazing.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think, not just myself, but the other cast members, we were always proud of that. So many new generations kept getting introduced to it, and they watch it with their parents, watch it with their young kids, with their grandparents, and then they introduce it to the next generation. And because the show's still on like 5 different platforms, it's one season's on Netflix, and then Paramount Plus has other seasons, and Pluto TV's showing it, and so many, probably 4 others. So new people are getting exposed to it, and so we're proud of that. It's such a ongoing thing for generation to generation.
It's a beautiful thing, and music is a big part of your life. Let's not forget your first, besides performing in clubs in the Catskills and around New York, Donny Most, 1976, United Artists.
Right. Because of the success of the show, I had an opportunity. I met a producer, and he said, I think we might be able to get a record deal, and it was a big label, United Artists. So they did, but you know, they wouldn't let, back in the late 70s, they wouldn't let me sing sort of the jazz standards or any of that, because they felt like, you know, some of the music I love is, oh, that's your parents' music or your grandparents. So they wanted me to do more of a pop rock kind of thing. So
There was a hint of the big band crooner side
Oh,
in
was there?
some of those songs,
Oh,
though.
really?
I could
Yeah.
hear it.
Oh, that's
What
cool.
was to come?
That's
That's
great.
amazing.
That's great. It came. I couldn't hide it.
You're such a potsy. He's such a potsy.
Can you call me a potsy before we leave?
You're such a potsy.
I love you.
I still got it.